Welcome to the Group Home Riches Podcast. If you have the desire to be your own boss, create your own schedule, and become financially free while at the same time helping people in need, then you've come to the right place. At GroupHomeRiches.com, we teach people exactly like yourself how to get started in the group home business. And on this podcast, you're going to hear their stories firsthand.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people really overcomplicate things, but it's really not that difficult. I mean,
right.
Get a property, furnish it up so that it's livable, and then just start reaching out to, the community in essence. I mean, so you said you reached out to the supportive services for veteran families.
Right. Yep.
And then they sent you people. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. And, they're really supportive and they have a big network too. So then once you figure out their organization, you reach out to, who else, you ask them who else, do you think can support it? And then they'll lead you to this person and that person. And like I said, it's honestly just opening up your mouth and speaking your mind. And if someone understands what you're trying to accomplish, they'll get right behind it and push you in that right direction. So yeah.
That's awesome. How did you hook up a deal with Home Depot?
Well, yeah, that came through an email and just like hitting them up on social media and stuff like that. And I created a nice template and not a presentation, but I sent them, like my marketing materials. I sent them like the news story on it to give them background. And then I just said like, hey, if you guys have any extra inventory that you need to get rid of, by all means, please don't throw it away. I'll take it. So,
good.
Again, it's just, what I mean? It's
being resourceful.
That's a great strategy.
Right.
I've seen you and a couple other members have used is just advertising on Facebook, social media. I mean, this is a problem that like everybody kind of sees out there and wants to help. So when they see people actually coming up with a solution, people are happy to help. So we have a ton of people that they get their homes furnished for free via, we've had a lot of people just do it on Facebook, but that's cool that you just went to the source. You went to Home Depot and got, sounds like you got new stuff for the places.
Yeah. And I mean, the community too is a big one for the fundraiser thing. So like branching or dating back to getting once you get the property, you acquire the property and trying to get it furnished, I did a fundraiser at the bank where it was called Food Trucks and First Responders. And all I did was just, again, reached out to the food truck people and some like first responders. So I had, some food trucks there and then the police department, the fire department, and the ambulance. And then at that fundraiser, I marketed the house saying, hey, this is what's going on. We're going to need pots, pans, dishes, blah, blah, blah. And then from there, I just had a sign-up list. I was like, if you want to help out in any way, if it's like the rehab aspect, or if it's just like by donating, write your name down, we'll get a hold of you and we can see how you can help. But I think that's the key right there. People want to help, but they really just don't know how to help. And then once you give them that, that reason why to help, that obviously helps. So
how old are you? What's your background? What did you do? You had your landscape business, but how long have you been doing this work?
Yep. So I'm 24 right now. The landscape business and stuff, I just started when I was in high school and took it all throughout college. And I started this real estate just a year ago. Honestly, it was coming across, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do within real estate. And I thought this was the most rewarding thing. So I'd say 1 year strong. And then from there, it's just, 2 properties right now that we have our veterans housed in. And then just kind of other random, flips or wholesales on the side. And then I think one cool thing too is, using the power of owner financing to acquire those properties. If you want to get back to like how to acquire them, I think there's a big, a lot of people think you have to go to a conventional, put in 20% down, but if you're good enough to, negotiate the terms with the seller, even, that's another good way to get into those properties very cheap. So, yeah, I guess I kind of learned all little avenues diving into the flips wholesale. And now this is my primary focus, is just,
So let's just to kind of dive in for some of our newer members that might not be familiar. Can you just give a brief kind of overview of what owner financing is, Jamie?
Yeah. So I guess, owner finance and how I came across this deal or the scenario was, I didn't really have the down payment, the 20% to buy a duplex. So I reached out directly with the seller and negotiated the terms. And owner financing is pretty much you're coming up with a creative way to pay them what they really want, but in the terms that make sense for both parties. So in essence, this deal, let's say the purchase price was $200, right? So I said, Mr. Seller, I'll buy your place for $200,000. But at closing, I'll need 20% of that to come off the top as my down payment to close. And that 20% will then be put on a 5-year note. So we take 20% out of 200, would be real quick. Let's pull it up. I want to make sure my math is right.
40 G's.
So that's 40 grand. So you put that 40 grand on a 5-year note, earning 5% interest. So then you explain to them, you're saying like, hey, I'll buy your place right now for 200. You'll get 160 today. 5 years later, you'll get 40 grand earning 5% interest, which will eliminate your tax burden up front on top of kind of give you a short-term investment, on your 40 grand. And they're very open to that. They had a lot of equity in that property, so they had no problem with it. So, I mean, that's how I came across that one. So essentially, I think I came out of pocket close to $3,000 to acquire that property.
Good for you.
Which
40,000.
For people listening, kind of pause and think about that. That's going to be similar to like how much you're going to spend on leasing a property.
Right. Right.
You have your deposit, you have first and last month's rent, and then you're leasing a property. So there's creative strategies that you can use out there to get into ownership position, which is exactly that's a great strategy that we teach, but not a lot of people kind of take advantage of.
Right. Yeah, and to get off on that point too, it's pretty much finding out the situation of the seller too. You just gotta let them talk, figure out what they really want out of the sale and what they're gonna do with it, and that's kind of how you can figure out how to negotiate those terms from there. So you just always have to listen to what they want, and then you can go back and divvy it out. But yeah,
that's the key to if we kind of turn to real estate investing, that's the key right there. I mean, you don't look for cheap properties. You just look for problems that you can solve.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's really the key to every business. I mean, really, that's what you're doing. All you're really doing is playing matchmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You found a problem. You know that these vets don't have a place to live. You go out there, start talking to the caseworkers, and next thing you know, you got a really good operating business.
Right. And it's like for anyone that's like, if they have a small business too, like reach out to those caseworkers, say, hey, do you have anyone, right now that's looking for work? And if they say, yeah, employ those people in your company, get them like a month or 2 months worth of, employment, and then speak with him saying, hey, if you stick with me for 3 months, I can get you a house, And once they realize that, they'll be very motivated to stay with you.
I remember you reached out to me probably a couple months ago with your ideas, and I thought it was great. I love the idea of you trying to get like the community behind your thing, and it's been a beautiful thing to see it actually come to fruition. And I mentioned man, that sounds awesome. Like, you should probably reach out to the news. And you did that, right?
Right. Yeah. So, exactly what you said. I just said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Help me out. And they took it. They ran like a 2-minute video off of it, full interview. They got to interview the house where the veteran's going to be living, the veteran who's going to be living in the house, and all that other stuff. And that was all free advertisement. And on top of that, there's other places in town too, where wherever you live, there should be a local radio station that does free, pretty much like news or radio clips. And that was just another way to minimize my costs. So yeah, reach out to like the news, reach out to the radio, because they're seeking you. You know what I mean? Like, they're seeking that story. That's for the radio to get that phone call saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. They want you to come. So don't be afraid to ask, because that's what they need.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much bad news out there. They're dying for some good stories. So, and this is
this is a great story.
Right.
Yeah, so it only took, it didn't really take a lot of selling on your hand. You just reached out to them, and they were like happy to basically, I saw the video. It was like free promotion for your business, basically.
Right.
That's awesome. And now, and you have, you're using like crowd for like the construction and stuff too, correct?
Can you repeat that? Sorry about that.
You're using basically crowdfunding for like the construction and the rehab, it sounds like, right?
Yeah, exactly. So all the rehab work is like, it's led by contractors that I work with, but what we really want to like turn it into is more like a teaching type program, or just like a hands-on experience. So I advertised, I broke it down into weekly plans. So I can say, for example, let's say next week I would market, okay, next week we're doing all the flooring in the house. So if you want to learn how to lay floor, show up to this place at this time and you'll learn how to lay some floor for free. And you get to help out, and this is what the cause is going for. And you can take that for bathroom remodels or whatever, and someone will be like, wow, yeah, I want to learn how to put a backsplash in or whatever. And then on top of, they can feel good about themselves because they're contributing to, that home. So that's kind of how I went about the rehab part. Yep.
That's awesome.
Love this story, Jamie. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's like this is what we have people come to us with, all like they have big ideas like this, and you've actually implemented everything. It's a beautiful thing to see.
Mm-hmm. And that's you said it right there. You implemented. Just implement. Just try. Just reach out. Just try it. See what happens. And that was the biggest problem too. Like, there's always that factor of like, oh, what if, and let me tell you a quick story too. When this whole thing was starting, I got really, into a position where I didn't know if I could do it anymore. I broke down crying, saying, why would someone ever try to do this to me? Because I'm trying to help out. And what happened was, the 2 days before the fundraiser, a week before the fundraiser, I was promoting it, and I was going to other small businesses, veteran-owned businesses in the area, trying to get them to set up a booth to like show thanks to them too. And I came across a gentleman too who kind of heard about the story, and he just started, firing off. He's like, oh, you're not doing it for the right reasons, blah, 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 this, that. And he made a post saying, don't trust this guy. He's a hoax. He's just going to try and take your money. That was another like free press to say like, there might be haters out there, because what this guy was doing was he was pretty much jealous, trying to put me down. And other people realized what he was doing. Like, he made a bad comment, and then other people were bashing him and said, no, that's terrible. You should support this guy. Like, he's trying to do good things. And, that really kind of switched my mindset to like, never listen to anyone else besides yourself, because if that can get you down, just for some person, some jerk makes a comment online saying you're doing it for the wrong reasons, and then you take that to heart, it's going to come. So just be prepared for that type of stuff, because you're going to have people, friends, family, whatever, they're going to second guess it. But I mean, that shouldn't stop you for, trying to accomplish your goal.
Amen.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I see people get held back by, and like you said, friends, family, people that haven't done this, the big thing that they say is like, oh, you need to have a license for that.
Right.
What license did you get to start this business?
Hard work and effort.
that's what I want. Yeah. No, honest, nothing. Just, that's what it took. There's literally people sitting at home now, probably, that have been looking into this for a year, trying to figure out, the paperwork that they need to fill out, or the application or the license they need to start the business. And you don't Right. Well, let me jump into that real quick. So if you're trying to represent yourself as a nonprofit, which at some point in time in this whole process I was, but I wasn't technically considered a nonprofit at that point in time, even though my application was in, all the paperwork was in, but it just wasn't official yet. What you can do for those people that are worried about that, you just reach out to another nonprofit in your area, like the Supportive Services for Veteran Families, to hold the funds or whatever you want. Say if you're trying to do a fundraiser or you're trying to get money donated, what they'll do is you can still direct donations to another nonprofit to still hold your funds for you, and that nonprofit will then distribute the funds as needed. So that's kind of, if people are in that position as like, if I want to represent myself as a nonprofit, but I don't have it set up yet, just reach out to another one and let them know that you're in the process of getting it set up. But in the meantime, can I use you guys as kind of like my representation? And that does fly. So just want to throw that out there too. That's a great point. And I forgot that you went the nonprofit route, which is
right.
So when did this idea, or how long did you get started? How long,
the idea? Yeah.
It seems like it's been like about a year ago, it seems like, right?
Yeah, just about a year, honestly. It came to the point where I was talking to you on the phone before, we started the podcast. Just kind of, it got to the point where I was listening and reading enough to nod my head, like I said before. Like I would listen to something or hear something, and the whole time I was just, nodding my head up and down, like, yep, that's right. And then it got to the point, it's like, why do I keep on just listening to it and just do it? And then after it just took that one like snap of the finger to say, okay, enough is enough. Let's try something here.
Yep. Very, very little analysis paralysis, it sounds like.
Right. Right.
Very cool. Very cool. So what's kind of your long-term goals with this?
Yeah, I guess long-term would be some type of, like community center for strictly homeless people or veterans. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm going to be the only one, but I just think in my area, there's nothing where, there can be, homeless people and they can just walk in and feel comfortable. Like here's a place for them to stay for a week. But in that time, I want it to be open where people can walk in. When those homeless people walk in, we get them a job, and it's just the same thing. We get them qualified to eventually buy a house. Like that's the biggest thing. Like the problem right now is just people not realizing what they have available to them. So my whole strategy behind this whole thing is not to house people. It's for the veterans themselves to understand that they just need to get up off their and get in and figure it out. And then once they do that, they'll realize like, wow, there's so much possibilities for me to change my life around. And like, even your listeners too, like just inspired to, reach out to other people and just give and help. because once you start giving, there's like a adrenaline or like a natural high that you get, you know, like go down to the store or supermarket and just buy someone a drink and give it to them. If someone gives that back and says no thank you, well then you know, you don't know, but more people than not are going to want your help and say thank you. And more times, you know, just keep on asking, you know, and I kind of, you know, I'm jumping back to that asking, giving, but that's kind of the point that got me to the point where I'm at, is just like act of kindness, maybe. I don't know, you know, spread act of kindness. So, but a goal, like you said, would just be ultimately, you know, providing a community center locally where veterans could walk in and, you know, we can get them back on track and get them into housing. So, you know, like I said, I'm young in it, but I just want to see how else, you know, you can branch out and just keep working at it and, you know, inspiring other people too. That's another thing. And that's what you guys are doing too. You inspired me to take action. So now I feel like I have to do my part to inspire others to take action.
That's beautiful. That's why that's why we do it.
Right.
Yep, that is exactly why we're here. But we're not just trying to inspire people. We're trying to inspire people to take action like you did, because it doesn't matter where you are, whether you're in North Dakota, whether you're in South Florida, whether you're in Northern California, Southern California, Texas, where we are. I mean, this is an epidemic throughout the country. And, you know, Trump is now bringing troops home, right? He's bringing people back. And unfortunately, to your point, Jamie, a lot of these guys, when they get back here, they're like, hey, I've been at war for the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. What do I do? And there's nobody out there to help them. It's really, really, really sad. So we've got to empower as many people as we can to go out there and do what you're doing and help these people.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, no, that's a big thing. That's a big thing. I mean, it's not going to change, you know, it's not going to magically disappear. You know, there's going to be homeless people no matter what. So it's just, how can we do our part to house them? And you can take that any direction you really want, though. Like whatever, you know, what other examples have you guys came across, you know, for like the group home? Like, you know, obviously veterans, you know, veteran housing is one, but like what other popular housing programs, or what do you guys kind of come across too commonly?
Man, there's so many little niches within the space. I mean, you're going to see your vets, you're going to see your disabled vets, you're going to see people that are on SSI, SSDI, you're going to see people that are depressed, have anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, you know, all sorts of diagnoses, dual diagnoses with alcohol, with drugs. Really, it runs the gamut. And so, you know, typically when we're talking to people out there that want to help out the community, we actually tell them at first, cast a wide net. Don't necessarily niche. And the reason we tell them that is because most people don't have that sort of drive and marketing expertise that you've been honing since you were 16 years old, right? I mean, you knew how to get out there and get the word out. But most people really don't know that. You knew right off the bat you wanted to help out, you know, veterans. But what we tell people to do typically is we say, hey, you want to help out veterans, that's fine. But if you don't have a lot of marketing experience, just pull the list. You got to pull the list of all the caseworkers and social workers in your community, start talking to everybody, and then let people start coming your direction and figure out who you can help. And then eventually, you know, if you want to start, you know, narrowing it down, you want to help out battered women, by all means, you know, focus on that niche. But at the beginning, you just got to get out there and start networking with the social workers and caseworkers. So that's kind of a long-winded way of me telling you that there's a wide variety of niches that really need help from people like you. Brandon, would you agree with that?
You like
100%. Yeah, even if there are,
it's more.
Even if there are people out there that want to specifically help veterans, we still, you know, market to all like the rehab clinics, homeless shelters, you're going to run across veterans that are kind of, as Jamie kind of brought up, not every veteran is set up through the VA for their housing, obviously, right? You see corners all the time. So it seems like, Jamie, you actually went out direct to the veterans to help them, but
right.
You're going to find veterans working with nonprofits that might be in a rehab clinic, that might be in a homeless shelter. But kind of back to Andy's point is cast a wide net no matter what. Or do what Jamie did and just go out and go out direct to the people to help them.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I guess you kind of have to figure out what's the need of the market that you're at too. Like you said, you'll probably get a good insight once you start picking up the phone, making those outbound calls to the caseworkers, trying to figure out hey, what are you guys in need of right now? And then they'll kind of probably tell you, say, hey, we have a lot of single mothers that blah 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 this, and then that's kind of where you get your idea too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was kind of that was your strategy in the beginning, correct?
Yeah, basically. I mean, we went out there, we started talking to the caseworkers. We actually physically, I drove over there. I drove over to the hospitals, and there was people literally standing out front. And I was like, hey, do you have a place to go? No, I have nowhere to go. I'm just shaking my head going, no wonder. We've got a huge opportunity here. Now, fortunately, I already owned real estate. So it was very easy for me to just basically grab these people and say, hey, do you want a place to live? And then I had a vacancy, boom, took them over there. I filled up one room, then filled up another, then another, then another. And the rest is kind of history.
Mm-hmm. 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 But like you said, it kind of just started what you did right there. Both you and I essentially took people straight off the streets, and we figured that person out too. You can't just essentially grab someone by the hand, throw them in your car, and said, "Let's go." You gotta talk to them back and forth, and
and you gotta qualify. Yep.
Right. But that's kind of where it starts. Yeah.
And I will throw this out there because I know people are listening. We have definitely had Gold Course members, that go through all the reading material and everything else. And for whatever reason, they don't realize that to Jamie's point, you got to screen these people. You got to make sure they have income. Now, 90% of them are going to have income, but then you got to make sure that they're not going to drink it or drug it all up, right? And you don't let somebody move into your property without collecting a deposit and rent on them. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be some points in time when maybe you do let it ride. We actually still do that to this day. We have community resource beds, but I always joke around and tell everybody, hey, you can't move into an apartment complex without a deposit and first month's rent. You can't get Time Warner Cable or Spectrum or whomever to turn on your TV without you paying them first. Well, this is a business, whether you're a nonprofit or whether you're a for-profit, you have to run the operations and the business profitably. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Mm-hmm.
And what we recommend, and the majority of the time, is get set up for a guaranteed payment. So, a lot of the members are going to be on Social Security income, or a lot of times with your marketing, you're getting paid directly by a nonprofit.
Yep.
So how are your tenants paying, Jamie?
So my focus is, there is whatever schedule they're set up, because it's Section 8 housing. So, essentially it's government housing, but what we've been working towards is doing fundraisers to raise money for down payments. And so say if we do a fundraiser at a carnival, right, and we raise 10 grand, that 10 grand will strictly towards down payment assistance for veterans. So we can have a security deposit on those people living in that house. And then they know that they really don't have to worry about, scratching at extra dollars. They really can focus on, getting back to, whatever the case may be, if it's a disability, physical, mental, whatever. So they can focus on themselves. So, I mean, you can raise money for them for down payments. That's just another way of marketing. But I mean, right now it's just like the Section 8. And there's different specifics that go along with that per client.
That's an interesting strategy. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah.
How are you promote mainly on social media or it's kind of just gotten word of mouth out there about what you're doing, or?
I guess primarily, I mean, I do have the Instagram page that I run, but I haven't promoted as much. I'm going to pick up as much as possible because I think social media is the number one key of marketing. But most of my marketing is just, emails locally and phone calls locally and just building relationships, locally. That's what it is. It's just building relationships with people within the community that have, the authority to kind of help you get to the place where you want.
Awesome. There you go, man. That is awesome.
But yeah.
So, man, it's just a beautiful thing to see you actually implement what you talked about a couple months ago, man. I really want to commend you for that. It's pretty amazing, actually.
Appreciate it. Well, I mean, it doesn't happen without you guys. So, I mean, a lot of kudos goes out to you because, without you guys, it probably wouldn't have started, or it probably might have started a different way. Who knows? But I mean, you guys provide the content that you need. I mean, more than necessary. I mean, you provide more than anyone could ever. If you wanted to start it today, just go on the website, check, search. And then, we all kind of agree, just kind of give it a try. If it doesn't work, go back to the drawing board and try again.
Exactly. I like to compare our stuff to the gym.
Yes.
Think of our stuff as a gym. If you sign up, that you're not going to lose weight. But if you get in there, the equipment, I mean, you're going to shed some pounds. You're going to put on some muscle. And
there you go.
You're just walking proof of it. I mean, you just took the material, implemented it, and now we see where you're at. And
right.
You're also you're into real estate. You want to do the big community thing. What do you have? 2 properties now, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
What I love about it, and what Andy did is, it's like a real estate investment strategy at the end of the day. So you can take your kind of the things you've learned through wholesaling and flipping and things like that, and you can build a really nice real estate portfolio while at the same time running your community group type thing out of the real estate properties. And that's exactly what Andy's done throughout the years.
Right.
Hey, I've got a reactivation. Yes.
Yeah, no, I would bet Andy came across you, and that's another benefit too. You get a lot of leads kind of given to you. Once you get, the first house that I got and the word came out, now you get just phone calls from realtors, or you just get, phone calls like, hey, this lady's going into a nursing home. The nursing home's now taking over her house. Would you be interested in it? Now you get other types of leads coming in, and it's just, it all works together. And the whole real estate aspect ties in so well with giving. And that's, you can't really go wrong with, you get 1, you're building wealth with real estate, and 2, you're helping people. So, I mean, where can you go wrong, right?
Yeah, it's a total win-win.
All right.
Awesome, man. Well, yeah. It's been a beautiful thing to watch. Do you have any parting words for the folks out there?
No parting words. I guess. I mean, I would like to open up my email or my Instagram page if there's any questions or if people need help getting started. If you allow me to give a quick little plug where they can reach out, I could.
Yeah, for sure. Where can people find you?
Right. Okay. Well, you can just go on Instagram. It would be Hometown Heroes ND. So that's Hometown Heroes ND as in North Dakota. And my email would be my first name. So it's Jamie, JAMIE at hometownheroesnd.com. And just honestly, if you're struggling getting started or don't know where to start, just, send me an email and we'll kind of go from there, or just reach out to these two. I mean, right. You guys did it all. So, yeah, we're just trying to build it. We're all a community together. So we're just trying to make it work.
I really want to encourage people to go out there, find, just check out like the news feature that you had. I don't know how can people, is that on your Instagram page?
Yeah. So you can go on to, or the website too. I'll just throw out the website too. So if you want to check out the website, that might be the easiest way. So that's the same. It's www.hometownheroesnd.org. So hometownheroesnd.org. And you can find the news story on there, Instagram. And yeah, check it out. That might give you a better, a little better insight to get started, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. This is the perfect example of just somebody taking action. You signed up for the course a couple months ago, just took like some very small suggestions that I had, and he's running with it. So folks, check out his Instagram page, his website. If you want to check out our material, at least sign up for the free training material. It's grouphomeriches.com. Check it out. You can definitely learn from just the free material and free content that we put out there. And if you really want to streamline things, check out the Gold Course, which I believe you're a member of the Gold Course, correct, Jamie?
Yep.
That's just going to put everything in there, give you all the how-to training videos, guides, sample material, everything that you can use, and more to get started in this business. Jamie, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you for your time, and just thank you for actually implementing what we teach.